Hello and welcome. Follow us beyond the scenes.
So, from what I understand, Beyond the Fog is a 3D animated short film that takes place in a futuristic Iceland. It follows an elderly rugby man and a unicorn on steroids. What can you tell me about this universe you've created?
Well, since our story is all about contrast, man versus beast, action versus emotion, or life versus death, we were inspired by Iceland, a land of rocky volcanic terrain with hostile weather, but also vast green plains with fertile lands. Our film starts and ends with majestic Icelandic landscape. However, during the heart of the film, the landscape were flooded with fog. This gave us white canvas to focus on the terrain silhouette and help to create a feeling of claustrophobic emptiness.
Due to the sheer quantity of fog, we had to figure out the best way to create it. To avoid rendering 3D fog on each shot, we did compositing tests early in our workflow to see how far we can push to the fog. Working this way gave us complete control over the fog's density, color, and depth directly in Nuke.
On certain shots with heavy camera movement or fog interaction, we opted for a procedural system. We pre-calculated clouds using tops and then scattered them on the environment based on the camera's FOV and distance.
Ah, gotcha.
Guys, what about lighting in all that fog?
We couldn't use realistic lighting techniques for an overcast sky because they felt very flat. So instead, we drew up some concept arts to help us define the mood and intention we wanted. We took inspiration from bad traveling or Death Stranding, which allowed to maintain consistent lighting directionality and image contrasts despite the fog.
We still had to introduce a more realistic look in compositing and break the CG with some lens effects such as deformation, defocus, grain, and bokeh.
Now it was time to craft the characters that live in our world. Using the concept, we designed a futuristic Viking who was strong yet old, while skipping time-consuming CFX simulations. For both characters, we mixed realistic shaders and textures with stylized shape, making sure to avoid the uncanny valley.
In the film, we are first introduced to the main character by his truck. Therefore, it also needed a visually striking shape. Our design came with its own technical difficulties, like adapting an auto-rig to our unique suspension system.
We wanted a film full of emotion and action. It's going too fast.
For the action scenes, we filmed our own references.
Even that one?
Well, most of the action scenes.
Due to the realistic appearance of our protagonist, it was important to stick to our references. However, thanks to our stylized artistic direction, we could allow ourselves to exaggerate slightly our animations and add a new level of dynamism.
For the emotional scenes, we needed to be actor, to embody the character and capture his feeling as much as possible. To convey the strong emotions on a burly character, we needed precise and realistic facial animations.
Making use of our rigging skills.
And to further enhance the animator's works, we created a shader system that responds to the character deformations. This versatile system could react to blood flow, wrinkles, and muscle contractions.
With our beast being a heavy and massive quadruped, it wasn't easy to film references, despite our attempts. Instead, we used footage of lions and tigers for their agility and predatory manners, and combined that to the weight of a bear's upper body.
How else were you able to bring the scenes to life? Excellent question. As animators, we worked closely with the FX artist who added that second layer of life, be it on the column sequence, the cliff falls, explosions, drool, or the final tear.
With the tear, as with the drool, we needed to be more precise and have more control over simulations. So using procedural setups, our work was much closer to animation than to simulations and solvers. And it saved us a lot of calculation.
Since our creature takes a lot of space on the screen, several regimes were needed to get the right resolution. To lighten the rendering load, we designed a system that could switch between high and low-res textures when needed.
We coded Python tool to execute almost repetitive actions in only one click. We called it the Moby Dick scene, our own pipeline tool. To put it simply, it loaded all camera, lights, and animated geometry through Alembics with simple FX, groom, deformation, and/or simulation, texture map depending on the character's state, all ready to render. With only one thing to go, the environments.
Very simple.
For the environments, we created time-saving tools in Houdini, such as mouse tool, rock tool, and scatter tool, to automatically instance these assets across the field. We also crafted our own camera frustum tool to remove useless geometry outside the camera's field of view, optimizing the scene.
To optimize the waterfall, we set up a distributed particles and smoke system, save time on large-scale simulation, run several iterations, and gain in resolution. The idea was to divide the different parts of the waterfall and the river according to their distance from the camera. And each slice could be calculated on different computers at the same time for the same frame.
So how were you able to get from all those numbers to a final image?
It all came down to compositing, taking everyone's experimentation and putting it into one final image. But what matters most is what happened behind the camera. Beyond the Fog will have never been a reality without the organization, but more importantly, the cohesion of the group, a bunch of strangers who became a family.
Are you crying?
No.
We wanted to create an actual short film, all while having fun doing so.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Scenes.